Hi, I'm Connie Sokol, a national speaker, best-selling author, program founder, and mother of 7, and loving it. I'm reaching and teaching 1 million listeners to live a purposeful, organized, and joyful life. You can too, so let's go.
Hello, welcome back to Money Mindset Mentors. We are so excited to be with you today and to be able to talk about this topic. Today, we are going to be talking about the mindset of an investor and what that looks like and how we can step out of our scarcity mindset or any of those limiting beliefs that may be holding us back and really embrace this idea of investing and investing with a purpose and investing in a way to where we are blessing generations to come. That is the overall goal. And I'm so excited to have Amy and Rachel with me here today. And we are going to be just diving right in. So ladies, one thing that I want to start on, because as most people know with my story, I came from a place of $68 in my account. And I was really in the spot of, I don't want to be here anymore. I need to make some better choices with money. And I started to heal that money relationship. And I have started to grow this abundance. And I'm just barely starting my investing journey. I'm to a point now where I'm like, all right, I feel like I'm ready to take the step. And so I am like a lot of people out there. And this is the first time I've really played or toyed with investing. And so I am right here to pick your guys' brains and get as much information of this as I can. So the first thing that I wanted to just come out the gate with is I took just a moment and I wanted to find out, like, what does the world say an investor is? And I found this definition pretty amazing, actually, because it says so the definition for an investor is a person or an organization that puts money into financial plans, property, etc., with the expectation of achieving a profit. So what I loved about this so much is I loved this idea of financial plan. That to me automatically went, this isn't careless risk, right? I'm not sitting there going, I'm going to just buy this and this and this and this, and I'm just going to take the risk. You have to have money to make money, right? You have to spend money to make money. And this made me go, wait a minute. No real investor does careless risk taking. It is planned. It is calculated. Amy, I've heard you talk numerous times on here about if the numbers work. And all of a sudden, oh my word, it really is this financial planning. You have to make sure it's going to work with the money that you have. And part of that financial planning may be getting out of debt, right? So that way you have those extra funds to start that financial planning in order to invest. So I would love to hear your ladies' thoughts on this.
I guess we should have decided who was going to go first. we should have planned. I'm just kidding. It's always very organic. It's good. I'll hop in first really quick. So along the same lines as what you already brought up, that planning, I would say the other part of being an investor or being an investment group or anything would be looking at the whole picture. Instead of just looking at one slice. So particularly when you get into investing and your definition specifically calls out looking at and investing being something that you're expecting to make a financial gain from. A lot of times when people are investing, their brain automatically goes to that cash flow, right? So in business, in real estate, in stock market, anything like that, you're talking about dividends, or you're talking about cash flow, or you're talking about EBITDA, or you're talking about, seller discretionary earnings. So when you have that mindset, you have to, I would say, look also at the bigger picture. So with real estate, for example, there's many ways to make money, cash flow being just one. I think a lot of times when I work, especially with newer investors, they get very, very zoned in on that one number. And so I would say a very wise piece of advice for becoming an investor would be to make sure you're looking at the whole picture, particularly where my specialty lies with real estate would be you're looking at cash flow, that's all of your, money that you take home after all of your expenses. The other parts of real estate that you make money are going to be not tangible, and so harder to wrap your brain around. You're going to have your interest write-off, so you're allowed to write off the interest that you're paying on that loan. You're also going to have depreciation. You're also going to have your appreciation. So there's a lot of different ways to make money, and that probably, well, to my knowledge, is true in almost all facets of investing. There's usually a bigger picture, and not just that one line item of your cash flow, but certainly calculated.
That's great. And to just kind of go back to what Amanda was talking about, like having a plan. As I was listening to the definition, I kind of thought about, myself and my husband and how we got started and what was our plan. And I remember talking to a lot of people. That's I think a very good way to start is to broaden your net and to reach out to a lot of different people, not just one or two, but really trusted friends, colleagues, people that have done this. I think there's a lot of naysayers out there and just, very negative things. And also there's a lot of like, oh, get involved in this because it can, you can make money super fast. So you need to be very careful with, who you're kind of lining yourself up with. Just a quick example from our life, we were looking for a financial advisor, and I had done research, luckily, and we wanted a specific, whatever it was we were looking for. We wanted something. And anyway, it turns out that this particular person did not have our best interest at heart. And it was because I had done that research and been prepared. So you need to prepare yourself. You need to line yourself up with good people that really have good intentions, know what they're doing in the investing world, and put yourself in their circles. So that would be kind of my advice when you're setting up a plan.
Yeah, I love that, ladies. So because I'm new at this investing journey and opportunity, sometimes I feel a little bit like Dory, and I'll be like, oh, I want to do investment, and I want to do, oh, this looks like a good property, and maybe I want this, and maybe I want this, and maybe I want this. And recently I've seen 2 properties that have caught my eye, and I sent them to each of you ladies. And Amy, I loved your response when you started bringing it back to the plan, right? Like, okay, well, what's your intent? And I was like, well, I didn't think about that. I was just swimming, right? And I just got distracted by all of these properties. And so I love this idea of what is your plan and what is the purpose of it, and really preparing that so you can talk to more people and say like, hey, is this a better option or is this a better option? And what aligns and what are the pros and cons of each one? And so that way you are very prepared when you go in. I absolutely love that advice so much. The other thing that I thought as we're having this conversation, some things that have come to my mind is when I'm looking at, so as you guys know, I'm a certified financial coach through Ramsey Solutions. And one thing that we talk about is having 15%. That's kind of what we look at is first, you want to make sure that you've got some debt eliminated. You want to make sure that's the first thing. And so if you are a person and you're sitting there going, you know what, I really do want to start investing, but I've got these debt payments where I'm really tight with my money right now. The best thing that you can do is start really getting rid of that debt, chipping away, because the beautiful thing is, let's say you have monthly payments going out that are $1,000 or $1,500, and you start chipping away at that, and chipping away at that. Once you get that balance down to zero, you have now just made a profit. You have now just made this big profit. You've got now $1,500 that you can really start thinking about investing. So I want you guys to know that investing there are, just like Amy said, multiple ways to invest. And there are so many things to do with that. And maybe your starting point is investing and getting rid of that debt, so that way you can open that opportunity up at a wider, you can really broaden that and be a little wider with that. Ladies, anything on that?
I love what you said about that, because you've got to invest in yourself, and before you can really, make money with this, you have to be able to trust yourself with the decisions that you're going to make, because as you're investing, hard things are going to come up, and you've got to remember, where's your foundation? Where's your plan? And so if you don't trust yourself, you're going to be willy-nilly. And so I think that's great advice.
I also think it's wonderful advice, what you said, to surround yourself with people that know and that understand, because I just, in my experience, most problems are solvable. Like really very few times do you come up against something that's not a solvable problem. Sometimes you just don't know how to solve it yourself. And so I think surrounding yourself with people that understand that, and understand those bigger types of strategy, and have maybe had some experience with the things that you're probably going to be facing, is really helpful too. And not to say that they need to solve that problem for you. You know what I mean? Because like Rachel, you said, like sometimes people don't have your best interests at heart, but being able to get advice from maybe a few different places, and kind of weigh that out, kind of feel into how that works for your particular problem, and see if that, they've offered maybe the best or what seems to be a good plan of action, or maybe not. Maybe you can see some other problem that would stem from the solution that they maybe offered you, but it opens up some of that creativity to be able to see the problem in a different light and maybe solve it in a different way that you didn't initially think. So
yes. Oh my gosh, Amy. Yeah. I think that's all about being an entrepreneur, is like solving those problems and having people around you. Like I say so many times, I'm like, I always say, like, I don't want to know, like, we're going to come up with options on how, right?
Always.
So
sure. Yeah. And you have to have multiples, you know what I mean? Like I was actually just like right before this meeting, looking at like a 42 unit building right now. And I'm like, cool, this is a market I don't know. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things I don't know. Like what are the environmental issues? What are the city barriers? Like what kinds of neighborhoods are these? Is this gentrifying? Like all of these questions. Like I'm super familiar with real estate, but this is a place I don't know. So is this, like I said, I would actually like to bring another partner on. I want somebody that knows more than where I'm at. Like a 42 unit building, I'm like, can totally take that down. But I want somebody else involved that could maybe like really help to expand the possibilities. Like if this could be a mixed use, if this could be a hotel, if this could, be like a super cool, swanky place that's like mixed use and commercial, like mixed use and residential, have some patios, have a rooftop restaurant, like it would be super cool to have someone else's perspective on adding those. Did we lose? Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm like in the middle of talking here. Hopefully they can edit this part out. Is it still recording? It says it's still recording.
Oh, it says recording on the top. So that is so funny. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not me who's gone.
She's gone. Well,
I guess that's
we lost our host.
But great. How I have to be this. I'm not good at this.
Maybe she'll hop back on. And if not, then we're probably about to our wrap up spot anyway. But I love to have that perspective. So I would say like on the investing journey, just like you've done, Amanda too, like where she's starting the investing journey, but like just being able to surround yourself by, and have options to problems, because everybody's gonna certainly, oh, there she is. Everybody's going to run into problems. And if you just find the right people to kind of help open up your creativity, that's always super helpful. So,
and you'll get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're not in that space. And so by someone that's there, that's done it, oh my gosh, then you're going to be able to go so much further faster. Not that faster is the best, but like I mean, you know,
Avoid some of the big pitfalls too. You know what I mean? Or maybe create something that you wouldn't have thought of that is 4% better or 6% better or 10% better, you know, like having those other, you know, opinions. So.
yeah, it's awesome.
Like that.
You're back. Sorry, we lost you for a minute.
Oh my gosh, my phone overheated.
Oh my gosh. It's too hot.
Right now. Yeah, that's so much.
hot.
It just goes to show that this investing topic is a hot topic.
Hot topic.
Hot topic. You know, ladies, I've been thinking about really changing the mindset, right? When we're thinking about investing, I've really been thinking about how we think differently when we're getting ready to step into this investment world. And when you talk to people who do invest and are really good at it, that the way they think, they don't think about like, oh, I'm going to lose this money. That's not what they're thinking. And they're not thinking about, oh, I want to take this amount of money, but if I put it over here, it's tied up. That is not the way they're thinking. And I found this so amazing. I've been talking to, because I also want to. So the other thing, I want to back up really quick. We are already investing. So many of us are already doing this investing journey. If you are putting into a 401k, you are investing. If you have retirement, you are already practicing those principles already. And so it's just that additional piece, right? You want to generate funds at maybe a faster rate. And so you want to have more streams of income, I guess is how you would say that. And anyway, so as I've been thinking about this, I've been really thinking about this idea of, it's not that you're tying it up. And as I've been talking to this investor, he keeps telling me, he's like, Amanda, you're making your money work for you. And when you really grow wealth, it is when you tap into the idea that your money is making money for you while you sleep. That is really the beauty of investing. If you do real estate, you are making money while you're sleeping. If you are investing in the stock market, you are making money while you are sleeping. If you are doing a Roth, and I can never say this right. My acronyms always get mixed up, you guys. I am so sorry. A Roth IRA, did I say it right? Woohoo! Woohoo! I always talk to him and I'm like, I want to do this. And he's like, okay, but you have those letters in the wrong order. And I'm like, but you know what I'm talking about.
But you know what I'm talking about, right?
And so it really is thinking about this idea of, how do you get your money
I am on a
for you?
Yeah.
Did you have something? Does anybody have something to add to that?
I was going to say we lost. I agree with that 100%. I think, and multiple streams of income is always great, right? So I think that's difficult to wrap your brain around at the beginning though, just because I think resources are like you said, okay, so you're starting with debt and then we're going to pay that debt down. And then we're going to take that money and that's kind of a raise and we're going to put it somewhere else that's going to work for us. But it's hard to be like, hey, I'm going to diversify right from the beginning. You know, like, okay, cool. I think that's good to do whatever you're investing in. If it's a 401k, if it's a Roth IRA, those are great investments to diversify yourself with. I think also there's, it's just difficult to do so many at the same time. So I think to kind of say, you know, $50 a month here, $50 a month here, and $1,000 a month is where I'm going to save so that I can invest in something a little bit bigger, like real estate. And I think understanding, being able to wrap your brain around, like, you know, like with business, you have like a faster return on investment because your risk is higher. I mean, so kind of understanding, you know, that in real estate, so if your ROIs, your return on investments are going to be a little lower on a long-term type of investment like real estate versus something that like is a business, you know, because the risk is different. It's in a different spot. Same thing if you're just evaluating properties themselves, you know what I mean? Like if you're evaluating, you know, like this type of property versus this type of property, you know, you have to take into account things like if you're only buying land, that is not a depreciable asset, right? Like if you don't have a structure on it, you're going to miss one of those pillars of real estate, which I think I forgot also you have loan pay down, but that's also not a tangible return on investment, but something that is part of the real estate investment journey too. So I think all of the things that you said are super valid. Diversification, having people that are smart around you to help you solve problems, and then like really trying to understand what you're investing in before you spend the money. So
I love that. And one thing that has helped me, I have a lot of people that will say to me, well, how did you start to shift that mindset? So I just wanted to share this one tip really quickly that I absolutely love to do. And I use this with everything. I'm just constantly doing this. So I have a notepad that I carry with me all the time. And I let those thoughts come. So sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'm like, oh my word, this is so scary. Like, oh, that's a lot. And I don't know if I want to do that. And before, those thoughts would make me really nervous. And I'd just be like, oh, why am I doing this? This is causing me to freeze. Now I write it down. So I'll write my thought down. And then I instantly, see, listen to me and my words. You guys are just going to be like, that girl.
I love it.
Yeah. So then right after, I will write down a thought, the next thought that comes in a positive way, right? So if this is what's holding me back, what could move me forward? And I'll write that down. And that has been so amazing of a journey for me, because it has made me go, like, if I say, oh, I don't know, that's too big. Like, there's not enough. I don't have enough cash flow yet to make this happen. Then my next thought will be, what do I need to make this happen? What do I have? What do I need to make this happen? And that has really helped me really just niche it down to figure out exactly what do I need to do and what is my next step to get there. Do you guys have any tips or tools like that?
Yeah, man, I think for me, I'm so far into it that I just have that process is a little bit more, so like, for example, that 42 unit that we were analyzing on the call this morning, it's just like that. It's just like your process. It's just that I've done so many of those real estate. It's like when you reached out and you're like, hey, what about this? I'm like, cool, what are you going to use it for? How easy is it to lease that? How many more of those can you get on the property? Is it available? Like, how much does it cost you to put those? Like, those things just now come super naturally. So I think that's a great tip for people who are just getting started, to like write down what is this? Like, what is scaring you? Like, what is the problem? Because typically those fears come back to information. Typically it's like you get this like weird gut thing and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about that. And like analysis paralysis, or you just shut down because you don't know anything about it. And so I think probably information fear usually is based on like some sort of information that you don't have. And if not, like, you can bring that information to light and analyze it and decide if it's appropriate, not appropriate, if it works for you, if it doesn't work for you, and then you kind of make a better decision instead of just like a fear-based decision on stuff like that. So
yeah, I love that. That fear is usually because you don't have the information to move forward. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. Like, seriously, that needs to be on a magnet on my refrigerator. Because I love that little nugget.
Yeah,
that
seriously. Yeah.
And it also goes back to partnering with somebody, right? So like when I found those properties and I was like, hey, this could be really cool, because we know that we'll probably be moving back to that area, but not anytime right now. So I was like, hey, it could be great to get this property, and then eventually we'll build, but we're not to that point yet. And so I loved that you were asking me all these questions, because those are things that I need to know. So I automatically just started writing down, I've got some homework. I need to be checking into this, and I need to be checking into this and this. And so then that way, if I do decide to move forward with that, I've done that homework, and it alleviates a lot of that fear step, right? So it can become more of that faith step and just step into it instead of being afraid of it. I love that. That's so good. Oh my gosh, yes. Well, Rachel, anything on your end? I don't know if she stepped out, if we lost her for a minute.
No, hers is like not on the screen anymore either. So. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just wrap up really quickly, and then if she has something and she can hear us and is able to, I would love for her to jump back in. Any final things that you would like to say just as we get ready to close?
I'm just super grateful to be here, and I love like chatting with you ladies. I always feel like it's super good experience for me. I like really always love hearing your guys' thoughts and having your perspectives on things. So I'm just happy that we're still doing this.
Me too. It's so fun. I have just loved it, and I soak it in all of the time as well.
Yeah.
It's like it just ignites me inside. I love this conversation. I love talking about money. I love talking about the real of the money. So my takeaways, so some things that I want to just really focus on as we get ready to wrap up here is, number one, remember that being an investor means there's a financial plan. You're planning something. So on paper, on purpose, you have a reason for every calculated step that you're about to take. And we are stewards. That's what we are. We get to be stewards over this money. We get to boss it and determine where it needs to go and what it needs to do. And if you are somebody who is sitting there going, but I can barely make ends meet, that's okay. That's where you're at. That's where you can start. Determine that as you're doing that financial planning, right? You're investing in yourself at that moment, and you're investing in a better way. Find that better way to make the ends meet and getting out of debt. Find that way. Maybe it's, what can I do to bring in an extra $100 a month so I can just put it away and put it away and put it away on this debt, so I can just get through this debt as quickly as I possibly can. So then that way, all those debts then become that income. That's going to be your first profit right there, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be your first step in making that money. And then from there, you can make that plan. Look at the whole picture. And if you don't know how to look at the whole picture, find somebody who does know how to look at the whole picture.
Yeah.
With me, it's these two ladies right here. I don't see the things that they see yet because I'm looking at the foot of the mountain. That's all I'm looking. I'm looking at the foot of the mountain and how far I've got to climb. But they know all of the things that are going to be along that trail because they've walked the trail, and they're able to look from the top of the mountain down and help me on my climb. So really important to find your people and look at the whole picture. I'm trying to see what else I wrote down here. And then broaden your net. Don't be afraid to go to those people who are investing the way that you want to be investing, and put yourself in their proximity. Ask them questions. They will be willing to share with you. I hope you guys have found this helpful. I know that I do every single time. Thank you so much for joining us. Rachel, do you have anything? Can you hear us? Are you there?
This is like muted.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Until next time, thank you for joining us. We will see you again on Money Mindset Mentors.